Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Welcome to our public meeting regarding the identification of a potential administrator for the North Edwards Water District. My name is Kern. I'm the Senior Water Resource Control Engineer. I hope that you can, if you're joining us via computer, can see the PowerPoint, and if you're joining us via phone, welcome. My colleagues and I are here today to provide you with information regarding the identification of a potential administrator for North Edwards Water District, to present the potential administrator's qualifications and scope of work, and to respond to your questions and comments. I would also like to acknowledge our many partners that have helped bring us here today. In particular, the North Edwards Water District's board, their staff that have been integral in both continuing service and working with us to facilitate a solution. Additionally, the Local Agency Formation Commission, California Rural Water Association, the Division of Financial Assistance, and Self-Help Enterprises have partnered with us so that we can all be here today to work towards a sustainable solution for your community. Additional thanks to those that I have not mentioned, but have also helped us throughout this process. And I want to thank each and every one of you that have joined us here today and taken the time to share your interests and concerns, and we really value your input as we work through this process. There will be opportunities to comment and ask questions both during this meeting as well as to submit comments after the meeting. So the mission of the water boards is to preserve, enhance, and restore the quality of California's water resources and drinking water for the protection of the environment, public health, and all beneficial uses, and to ensure proper water resource allocation and efficient use for the benefit of present and future generations. We work to achieve our mission through an array of programs established within our major divisions and regions, and we want to begin this meeting by acknowledging the groups who have and continue to experience economic, environmental, and social disadvantages as a result of historical marginalization and whose daily lives are impacted by racism and injustice. We look forward to continuing to work together in order to ensure a safe and affordable drinking water for all Californians. And now I'm going to pass the mic off to Marina Perez. Marina is the manager with the Office of Public Participation. Marina?
Thanks, Karen. Welcome and thank you for joining today's meeting. My name is Marina Perez and I will be your meeting facilitator. I'd like to begin by sharing some meeting logistics. This meeting is being held virtually through Zoom, and the State Water Board presentation is being recorded. We will end the recording before moving into the public comment period, as we welcome your open and honest communication. We ask that you email us your comments and questions at ddw-administrator@waterboards.ca.gov, or hold your comments and questions until the public comment period. We have a number of people participating with us today on the Zoom platform and by phone. Some things to note are that the Water Boards does not have this chat function. If our presentation is too big for your screen, please set your view to fit screen. Typically, a taskbar is found on the bottom of your Zoom window, but it can also be found on the left-hand side. To improve streaming quality, most presenters will not be sharing their video today. If you are experiencing technical issues, please email ddw-administrator@waterboards.ca.gov. In the subject line, write "Help Desk" and indicate you need technical assistance. To comment on today's presentation, please email ddw-administrator@waterboards.ca.gov. Please provide your first and last name. State if you are representing an organization, yourself, or another individual. Provide the last 3 digits of your phone number. Indicate whether you would like to read your comment or have it read for you. And in the subject line, write North Edwards public comment. A few meeting guidelines. We want to thank each of you for finding a way to join us virtually. We don't expect delays. However, we ask for your patience in advance should any difficulties arise. Some guidelines for our meeting are: in the event that we or you get disconnected from the video, please rejoin the Zoom meeting or use the call-in number. Take breaks as you need them. This is a 2-hour public meeting. We encourage everyone to take care of themselves as needed. Folks participating on the call will have their microphones muted and cameras turned off during the presentation portions. There will be an opportunity to ask questions and provide comments during the public comment segment after the presentation. At that time, if you'd like to speak, please remember to raise your virtual hand. This will help us locate you in the attendee list. If you are called upon, you will be asked to unmute yourself to speak. I understand that some of our attendees are joining us via phone. As a reminder, if you are calling into today's event and would like to raise your hand, please press *9 on your telephone keypad. If you are called upon, press *6 to unmute yourself. Once you have finished asking your question or providing your comment, you can press *9 once more to lower your hand. For those watching at home or calling in without the Zoom application, you can email your question or comment with the subject as North Edwards Meeting to ddw-administrator@waterboards.ca.gov for the Division of Drinking Water. We have staff in the Division of Drinking Water presenting today who will be introduced in a moment. For this event, we have many State Water Board team members assisting and supporting at all levels, and we want to take the time to acknowledge their work and dedication. We have staff in the Division of Drinking Water and the Office of Public Participation, including Karen Nishimoto, Division of Drinking Water Engineer, SAFER Southern Engagement Manager, Rayna Rodriguez, DDW, Division of Drinking Water, SAFER Southern Engagement Unit, Michelle Frederick, Division of Drinking Water, SAFER Unit Chief, myself, Marina Perez, Manager with the Office of Public Participation, Vanessa Soto, Office of Public Participation, Jesse Dollywall, Division of Drinking Water, District Engineer, Tehachapi District, Tricia Wathen, Section Chief, Dr. Eric Migalino, Division of Drinking Water, Resident Physician. In addition, we have James Garrett, Division of Financial Assistance, David Rice, Office of Chief Counsel, and Tammy McVeigh from Self-Help Enterprises. And last but not least, staff providing key technical support, the nuts and bolts of this meeting. We have Haiti Yonamine, Itzel Vasquez Rodriguez, Michael Ben Ortiz, Kajal Gupta, all from Office of Public Participation, and Ariel Chavez from the Division of Drinking Water. Thank you so much. So what is the Safer Drinking Water Program? I want to take a moment to provide an overview of the Safer Drinking Water Program. SAFER stands for the Safe and Affordable Funding for Equity and Resilience. And the SAFER program's overarching goal is to provide safe and affordable drinking water in every California community for every Californian. The SAFER program, a term coined after the passing of Senate Bill 200 last year in July, formalizes the work which the Water Board has already been doing for a very long time. The creation of the new Safe and Affordable Drinking Water Fund with $130 million per year for 10 years towards drinking water projects, primarily in small disadvantaged communities, was intended to fill funding gaps in the pre-existing program. At the water boards, the SAFER program is primarily implemented by the Division of Drinking Water, the Division of Financial Assistance, and the Office of Public Participation. Working with drinking water systems with the Division of Drinking Water, funding short and long-term solutions through the Division of Financial Assistance, and engaging with communities served by those systems along the way through our Office of Public Participation. Additionally, the SAFER Advisory Group, with 19 members representing various parts of the stakeholder community, was formed late last year to bring their local expertise to the table to advise on the program specifically for each annual fund expenditure plan. Now, I'd like to hand the mic over to Vanessa Soto with the Office of Public Participation. Vanessa?
Thank you, Marina, and good evening, folks. My name is Vanessa Soto with the State Water Board Office of Public Participation. Thanks again for joining us here tonight. Okay, so I'm going to share a little about what to expect for this meeting. I'll go over the meeting agenda, then give a little introduction of why it's so important that you, the community, are here. My colleague Rayna will speak in just a bit to provide more details on how this process is meant to involve you and how your input is important. Sorry about that. Okay. So here's our meeting agenda for tonight. We'll start off with the community involvement and how your involvement is critical to this process. We'll then go over the background of North Edwards Water District, followed by an overview of the administrator process. Lastly, we'll introduce California Rural Water Association as the potential administrator for the North Edwards Water District, as well as provide information on their qualifications and scope of work. And finally, we will take public comments and questions. So the purpose, in addition to all of the items outlined in the agenda, the purpose of today's meeting is for the water boards to share information on the administrator process and to introduce a potential administrator which can help bring the community of North Edwards safe, reliable drinking water. To do that, we'll provide an understanding of the role and function of an administrator and how this process incorporates community involvement and feedback. Then we would like to hear from you. Your comments are important to us. We are here to listen to your comments and your questions, and we will respond as best as we can. Community participation in these meetings and providing comments on decisions being made is important because it helps the administrator make decisions based on what is most beneficial to the community served. These comments can offer valuable insight to help determine the best way to provide the community safe and affordable drinking water. Comments regarding the potential administrator's qualifications and scope of work will be accepted today through November 16th, 2020. This will give you an opportunity to digest the information shared today and submit questions and comments anytime before that November 16th deadline. Questions and comments will be received today during our public comment period via Zoom and via phone. You can also send in questions or comments via email. These comments will be considered as part of our review of the potential administrator's qualifications and scope of work. So now on to the meat of our presentation and the background of the North Edwards Community Water District. I'd like to hand the mic over to our first presenter, Jesse Dollywall, District Engineer with the Division of Drinking Water. Jesse?
Thank you, Vanessa. My name is Jesse Dollywall, the Tehachapi District Engineer. I will be giving you some background information about the North Edwards Water District, information on their non-compliance with the arsenic MCL, and to help understand why they are in need of an administrator. The district serves a population of about 944 people through 217 service connections. The district receives its drinking water from 2 groundwater sources with chlorination treatment. As you can see in the map, the district is also near Fountain Trailer Park and Sunset Apartments. And also the blue line in the map shows a pipeline from Antelope Valley East Kern Water Agency, which we will discuss further in the presentation. Water system issues. There are 3 primary issues with North Edwards Water District, and we plan to address those issues by appointing an administrator. The district has failed to comply with the arsenic standard for over 10 years. Due to not having adequate office staff and some board members resigning, the operation and maintenance of the water system is at risk. The infrastructure needs of the water system are also necessary for long-term sustainable solution. Let's talk about water quality. North Harbor water system has been out of compliance with the arsenic standard. Maximum contaminant level, also known as the MCL, are public health standards that all public water systems in California need to meet. The current MCL for arsenic in California is 10 micrograms per liter. To put that in perspective, 10 micrograms per liter is equivalent to about 10 drops of water in Olympic-sized pool. In 2009, the State Water Board issued a compliance order to the district for the arsenic standard violation. And in 2019, EPA, which is US Environmental Protection Agency, issued a notice of violation to the district and recently issued a unilateral compliance order against North Harbor Water District, the current board, and more information is available on EPA's website about the EPA administrative order. Per EPA's order, the district is directed to comply with the arsenic standard by April 30, 2022. North Harbor is required to monitor for arsenic level in both of its wells quarterly and report those results to the State Water Board. The highest reported arsenic level in the primary well, which is well number 1, was 4 times higher than the arsenic standard. The highest arsenic level in the backup well, which is well number 2 on the east side of the town, was almost 6 times than the arsenic MCL. The latest arsenic level recorded in the primary well was about 3 times higher than the maximum contaminant level in both wells. Let's talk about the health risk of high arsenic. The main health risks associated with the long-term exposure of high arsenic level in drinking water are skin damage, which includes skin thickening and discoloration, circulatory system complications, including the decrease in production of red and white blood cells, abnormal heart rhythm, damage to blood vessels, and a sensation of pins and needles in hands and feet. High arsenic exposure has also been linked to the skin, lung, kidney, liver, bladder, and prostate cancers. Let's talk about infrastructure needs. The district current storage capacity is about 105,000 gallons, which comes from 2 storage tanks that distribute water to the community. The highest total water usage demand of North Harbor Water District is about twice that, about 200,000 gallons. Small water systems are required to have storage capacity equivalent or greater than the maximum day demand. The lack of adequate storage capacity is significant because the water system is not sustainable to serve the customers. Lack of adequate storage capacity can also result in water outages during interruptions of supply that occur for routine maintenance or emergencies. An adequate storage capacity is also needed to maintain the water service to the community at all times. The district also needs to achieve compliance with the arsenic MCL by connecting to Antelope Valley East Kern Water Agency. Let's talk about managerial limitations. The district lacks the administrative staff needed to effectively manage and operate the water system. In September 2020, both the office manager and clerical staff resigned. The district is currently without any office manager and operating with temporary help. The district also has struggled to secure liability insurance since July of this year. While an administrator is not yet appointed to the district, the potential administrator, California Rural Water Association, has already successfully provided assistance. Recently, California Rural Water Association facilitated the insurance coverage for the district. There's also a lack of financial capacity to implement the solutions needed to provide a long-term, reliable supply of safe drinking water to the community. The district does not have necessary funds available to complete the capital improvement project to comply with the arsenic standard and is in need of financial assistance. So to summarize, the North Edward Water District has been struggling with being able to provide an adequate supply of safe drinking water for several years. The three main challenges are adhering to the arsenic public health standard, number two, lack of adequate storage capacity, and lastly, lack of consistent administrative and managerial staff to run the water system. It is for this reason the State Water Board is recommending the appointment of an administrator that can help the district address these challenges. Now, to provide an overview of the administrator, I would like to hand the mic to Rayna Rodriguez. Rayna?
Thanks, Jesse. Hi, everyone. My name is Rayna Rodriguez. I am in the Southern Engagement Unit of the Division of Drinking Water. And today I'm going to give an overview of administrators and also go over the process required by state legislature to appoint an administrator. So as mentioned earlier, the Safe and Affordable Drinking Water Fund was established by Senate Bill 200 last year to provide up to $130 million a year that enabled the State Water Board to help small water systems with drinking water violations, develop and implement sustainable solutions, including the appointment of an administrator. Senate Bill 552 gives the State Water Board the authority to appoint an administrator to a designated public water system that has consistently demonstrated the inability to provide an adequate supply of safe and affordable drinking water to its community. So the role of an appointed administrator is to provide administrative, technical, operational, legal, and/or managerial services to a water system. There are two types of administrators. There's a limited scope and a full scope. So a limited scope administrator would be appointed to provide a combination of those services that I mentioned, while a full scope administrator would be appointed to take total and complete managerial control over a designated water system. A complete description of the administrator authority and requirements can be found in the Administrator Policy Handbook on the Water Board's website. Various entities or individuals have the potential to be administrators. We outreach to communities and cities, as well as existing technical assistance providers. Potential administrators must have the experience and required competencies to provide or contract administrative, technical, operational, legal, and managerial services, or a combination of those services. The State Water Board has taken steps to designate North Edwards as a water system in need of an administrator for various reasons. As Jesse previously mentioned, when appointed, managerial control will shift from the North Edwards Board to the administrator to make decisions and run the water system throughout the duration of the appointment. So the goal of the administrator is to support the implementation of a sustainable solution to provide safe, reliable, and affordable drinking water in the community. An administrator is not a permanent solution. They will be appointed for a period of time to help North Edwards get their feet get on their feet and find a permanent, sustainable solution. The administrator is required to hold reoccurring public meetings to help keep the community informed and involved. As Vanessa mentioned earlier, participating in these meetings and providing comments on decisions being made is important to help the administrator make decisions based on what is most beneficial to the community. So public input offers valuable insight to help determine the best way to provide safe and affordable drinking water to the community. So the process to appoint an administrator to a water system is first initiated with a letter from the State Water Board to the water system. So the State Water Board issued a designation letter to North Edwards on June 24th, 2020, and received a response from North Edwards on July 2nd, 2020, indicating that they are requesting an administrator. Next, a public notice is sent to affected ratepayers, renters, and property owners at least 30 days prior to a public meeting in order to give the public an opportunity to provide feedback. So the notice regarding this public meeting was distributed on October 7th, 2020, and the 30-day public comment period started on October 9th, 2020. Next, the State Board conducts the public meeting, which we are all here for today. Following the public meeting, there are an additional 7 days for the public comment period where all stakeholders can submit their feedback via mail, email, or phone. The public comment period for North Edwards will conclude on November 16th, 2020. So once all the initial steps in the process are complete, the State Water Board can move on to the next step of legally appointing an administrator to the system. So as you can see, the process does take a bit of time, and the appointment of an administrator is not immediate. North Edwards will potentially be one of the first water systems in California to be appointed an administrator. Public meetings were also intended to be in person, but because of the pandemic, the remote participation adds on another level of complexity. Once an administrator is appointed, ratepayers, renters, and property owners who receive water from North Edwards may challenge the selection of the administrator and administrator decisions. A petition seeking substitution of an administrator may be submitted at any time to the State Water Board, and a petition seeking modification or revision of a decision made by the administrator must be received by the State Water Board within 30 days of the administrator's decision. So now I'd like to hand the mic over to Karen Nishimoto. Karen?
Thank you, Rayna. So my name is Karen, and we've done a lot of talking to you about background information, and now I want to move into what does this mean for you and your community. I'm going to be speaking about the potential administrator for North Edwards, their qualifications, the scope of work, so what they would be doing for your community, and any conflicts of interest that may exist. So California Rural Water Association has been identified as a potential administrator for North Edwards. California Rural Water Association has extensive experience working throughout California with both drinking water and wastewater systems. Since 2012, the California Rural Water Association has had a section which provides contract services for operation and management of water systems. Their operations staff has a combined 150 years of experience in both managing and operating systems, and also has experience working with engineering firms. They have experience providing both full and part-time operations, management services, and are currently providing these services to 2 cities and 6 community service areas or districts throughout California. These communities range in size from 500 to 15,000 people. To put this in perspective, North Edwards has a population of approximately 944. Also, their experience planning solutions for water quality problems may be applicable to North Edwards. California Rural Water Association has experience not only with creating master plans for long-term improvements, but also has experience with the state's funding process. California Rural Water Association has successfully applied for state funding for water system-specific projects and has been proactive in assisting communities with emergency or compliance needs. Funding for infrastructure improvements is critical, particularly where a community is economically distressed and may struggle with both technical background and financial resources to implement a solution. Mr. Dan DeMoss is the Executive Director for California Rural Water Association and is also here with us today. He has extensive experience assisting water systems in need. He has been with California Rural Water Association since 2002 and has been the Executive Director of California Rural Water Association since 2006. Prior to that, he has worked in various capacities, including with the City of Harrisburg, Oregon Association of Water Utilities, Miox Corporation, and DeMoss Contracting Services. He is also a certified water operator with treatment grade T2 and distribution grade D2 certificates. This exceeds the need for North Edwards, which currently requires a distribution grade D1 operator and does not require a treatment operator. He is also certified in association management from the Institute of Association of Management. This association is focused on optimizing administrative and management functions which clearly defined goals and success metrics. The expectation of an administrator for North Edwards would be to clearly communicate intentions to the community. Additionally, no conflicts of interest have been identified for California Rural Water Association as a potential administrator for North Edwards. Now to talk about the scope of work, or what this would entail. The State Water Board intends to appoint a full scope administrator for North Edwards. This means that the administrator would be responsible for full administrative and managerial control of the water system. In order to do this, California Rural Water Association would be responsible for a variety of tasks. They will facilitate a physical connection with Antelope Valley East Kern Water Agency as a new source of water for the community. They will manage infrastructure improvements that North Edwards needs. They will maintain community accountability and engagement. They will develop a post-administrator drinking water service plan, and they will also provide additional support. However, this work will not occur in a vacuum. Existing North Edwards staffing resources will continue to be integral for maintaining a functioning water system and moving towards a viable solution for your community. So one of the responsibilities of the administrator is to put in place a solution to provide safe, affordable drinking water for your community and to remove the high arsenic sources of water from use. In order to do this, the administrator will work to facilitate a physical connection with Antelope Valley East Kern Water Agency. The Antelope Valley East Kern Water Agency is a wholesale water provider that supplies water to over 20 municipal communities in Los Angeles, Kern, and Ventura counties. Antelope Valley East Kern Water Agency treats, stores, and distributes groundwater and surface water that is in compliance with all water quality standards. There is an existing Antelope Valley East Kern distribution pipeline located less than 500 feet from the North Edwards system boundary, as shown on the map earlier. The connection to purchase water from Antelope Valley East Kern is a sustainable long-term solution for the North Edwards community to provide water in compliance with all regulatory standards. Additionally, North Edwards is currently lacking in storage capacity. California Rural Water Association would be responsible for not only addressing the storage capacity issue, but also the evaluation of the entire system. Part of this evaluation would be assessing what is currently there at North Edwards and how it can be utilized. North Edwards has a partially completed storage tank that, if completed, could meet all of their storage needs. Evaluating completion of this storage tank and associated pump station would be part of infrastructure improvements for North Edwards. As an administrator, California Rural Water Association would also be able to apply to the State Water Board for funding to make the necessary improvements to the water system and have a rate analysis performed to determine the necessary rates to operate the rebuilt system. As an administrator, California Rural Water Association would also be responsible for creating a community accountability and engagement plan within 90 days of appointment. Basically, the purpose of this plan is to ensure that there are opportunities for meaningful community engagement throughout the duration of the administrator's appointment. The plan will include a description of the actions and activities that will be taken to engage with the community regarding the administrator's activities, a description of how the administrator will incorporate input from the community in the provision of services to North Edwards, a description of any means of communication the administrator will utilize to engage the community, and a timeline for implementation of the Community Accountability and Engagement Plan. This plan will identify routine public meetings, which will occur at least once every 3 months, and other methods to engage the community. Quarterly public meetings will be preceded by notice at least 10 days prior to the public meeting and include the opportunity for the public to present comments during the meeting. Some of the items included in ongoing public meetings may be the performance of the water system, an overview of the system's financial health, updates on major projects or plans, updates on any changes to water rates, and updates on any other significant matters. The public would also have access to records, including the current operating budget, an organizational chart of the water system's employees, ownership information, reports by auditors or other financial professionals, contracts for professional services, complaints, and the post-administrator drinking water plan, which I will talk about next. So the administrator is really a short-term alternative. And one of the administrator's top priorities is to identify a pathway to essentially put themselves out of a job. Within 12 months of commencing duties as an administrator, California Rural Water Association will need to submit to the State Water Board a draft post-administrator drinking water service plan. They will also hold a public meeting before this submittal. The draft post-administrator drinking water service plan will will contain each of the following elements: identification and evaluation of the technical, managerial, and financial issues preventing North Edwards from serving its customers an adequate supply of safe and affordable drinking water, identification and evaluation of significant future issues that North Edwards may face, a detailed plan for developing the necessary technical, managerial, and financial competencies in the shortest time frame possible so that the services of the administrator would no longer be required, any additional resources that would be needed to implement the post-administrator drinking water service plan, an evaluation of the feasibility of long-term public governance or community ownership options, and an evaluation of the feasibility of connecting to or consolidating with another public water system. There's also a couple additional considerations. California Rural Water Association would also support the potential consolidation of the nearby Fountain Trailer Park and Sunset Apartments water systems with North Edwards water districts. Fountain Trailer Park and Sunset Apartments are two nearby water systems that also have elevated levels of arsenic in their drinking water. Previously, there have been attempts to consolidate or connect these water systems to North Edwards, which have not yet been successful. The administrator would continue to support the consolidation of both Fountain Trailer Park and Sunset Apartments, and once North Edwards is connected to Antelope Valley East Kern to obtain safe drinking water, Fountain Trailer Park and Sunset Apartments would also receive this water via North Edwards if they were consolidated. To recap, the purpose of appointing California Rural Water Association as an administrator to North Edwards is really to ensure a safe, reliable supply of drinking water is provided to North Edwards customers for the foreseeable future and to ensure the system can be sustainable. California Rural Water Association would complete the necessary system improvements, including a purchased water connection, an increase in storage capacity, connection of Fountain Trailer Park and Sunset Apartments, and evaluation of other infrastructure improvements while ensuring community accountability. As previously mentioned, the public will continue to be informed of major steps and progress on the scope of work with a minimum of quarterly public meetings. And now, for the public comment period, I will hand the mic back over to Marina.
Thank you so much, Karen. And thank you, Vanessa, Jesse, and Rayna for your presentations as well. We will now transition to taking questions and comments from Zoom meeting participants. And we will also read emails received from the Division of Drinking Water email, ddw-administrator@waterboards.ca.gov. As a reminder to folks participating in the Zoom call, please raise your hand if you have a question. This can be done by scrolling over the bottom of your screen until a taskbar appears. Then you click on Participants, and under the list of participants, there is a button titled Raise Hand. Please use your Zoom name. Please make sure your Zoom name matches your real name. In terms of the process, Vanessa will introduce you when it's your turn to speak, and you will receive a request through Zoom to share your microphone. We kindly ask that you be mindful of the limited time we have here today and to please keep your questions succinct. Questions and comments will be taken in the order received. After we take the comments and questions from the Zoom participants, we will share the questions and comments from the Division of Drinking Water email. In the event that we are unable to take all the questions from folks in the Zoom call, you can also email us at ddw-administrator@waterboards.ca.gov, and staff will respond to those questions after the meeting. Today's presenters, Jesse Dhaliwal, Rayna Rodriguez, and Karen Nishimoto, will be responding to questions. We also have a few staff from the Office of Chief Counsel, Division of Financial Assistance, and from other areas available to answer your questions as well. Also, please note that at this point, the recording for the Zoom meeting will stop, and this is to ensure we have the ability for folks to have open and transparent communication.